So I think when I got the job from Avanos, I did a lot of research on the company before I even applied. I was very One of the things that I did in my shift from tactical to strategic was to really do research on a company before I went after them and applied for them. And they had some really good corporate citizenship that really sat well with me. It's manufacturing, it's the medical device industry, so really kind of an emerging industry with a lot of tech, but a balance of business. So hit a lot of the check boxes I had, and I was very pleased to be able to just interview with them in the first place.
Yeah, really exciting. And so now, as you look at the job you have today versus the job you were in, say, January 1st, 2020, in what ways are they similar? In what ways are they different?
In a similar sense, they're both very heavy on thought leadership and knowledge workmanship. So you really got to know your craft, and you really got to be a good voice for your craft. You can't just be noise. You have to actually have some signal. Your signal to noise ratio has got to be where it's supposed to be at. They both required you to be very level-headed and practical in your approach to things. I have a very pragmatic nature about how I approach and do things. I like to capitalize off of the experiences and standards of others and kind of build on that. And those things were similar. What was different was, again, I was more in the technology implementation side, which did require me to be very strategic, but I had a lot of tactical responsibilities like, incident response and working through overnights and a lot of that kind of work. And that's the difference between the position I'm in now, is even though I was doing those things in another role in sort of a same capacity, now I'm more on the coaching side of the whole thing, where I'm not actually doing a lot of the hands-on work. I'm guiding and coaching through it, and then making sure it's done properly, and then looking for process improvement opportunities, all the while taking as much responsibility for it as the person that's still on the execution side as well. And I think that's what really makes this position different, is that I'm able to take all those years of experience and really kind of relate to people that are down in the trenches on the front line of our business, and not be in their way, but also be a valuable part of what they're trying to do. And that's the real shift for me, is that I've had to step back and let someone else do a lot of things that I would have done myself in the past. And I'm not actually a direct leader of a lot of people like I used to be. I've got a very small team that I am a part of, and I don't spend my day worrying about if people are working the hours they're supposed to or anything. A lot of people leadership stuff. It's thought leadership. And that's a huge transformation for me, and it makes me a little uncomfortable from time to time, but I think I'm faring pretty well.
So here's my kind of final question for you today, Wayne. So it's the folks who are listening to this right now, for anyone maybe who's in job transition or feeling stuck or just feeling like there is no path forward, what advice might you have for them today?
The first thing I would do is I will be honest with you and tell you, here's where these statements come from. I got very discouraged. I wasn't flipping through the yellow pages, seeing what the number to the local, truck driving school was or anything, and thinking I'm going to make that large of a change in my life. But I got very discouraged about, am I hireable? I'm older in the industry. I've been working in the IT industry since the early 90s. A lot of the things I know are stale, so a lot of them are current, and trying to land in a position that just perfectly rounds out and takes advantage of everything I know and do is impossible. And I may have to find a little piece of what I know and work in that area. So I really thought that my career, or at least my skills, would take a hit because I would be working, in more of a hyper-focused capacity where I'm more of a big picture person. So my advice is really just to, understand that your comfort zone is flexible. It's extremely flexible. And not only is it flexible, it's, if this is a word, it's shiftable. It's movable. You can actually move to an entirely different comfort zone and redefine what is comfortable and uncomfortable to you. The other thing too is that having the support of my family behind me, they were really instrumental in me finding a job. I would actually work with my wife, who's a psychologist, on preparing for interviews and working, and who doesn't work in the IT industry, by the way. She's on the medical industry. So, it's good to have somebody that's more an objective point of view to, rehearse your questions. What do you think you're going to say? Don't try to do it all on your own. And then the last thing I would say is, it's kind of a cliche, but never ever give up. Never give up on yourself. Look at the certificates you have on your wall. Look at your resume. Look at your achievements. That stuff is real. It's actual. It's stuff you've actually done. You are a person. You are a doer, and you're not just a casual observer to your career. You're actually your career.